Thank you for Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning and afternoon in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., where our partners are. This is a workshop organized by the American Romanian Cultural Society, Romanian United Fund, and Alianta in Washington, D.C. So we have guests and participants representing the three organizations. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'll let the other participants introduce themselves as well. I am Otilia Baraboi. I am the co-founder of the American Romanian Cultural Society in 2013. Our signature event is the Romanian Film Festival in Seattle. And this year we'll have a partnership with Arizona Film Festival and also in Detroit. So please follow us on Facebook and social media. And we have many programs, cultural Romanian Heritage School, and we're very happy that the Romanian American National Heritage Award this year in the 5th edition is also this year organized in partnership with the Romanian United Fund and Alianta since the beginning. So thank you again for being here, and I'm going to pass the baton to say Iulian, maybe.
Sure. Hey, I'm Iulian Calinov. I work for Otilia, supporting her in arts. I'm also a board member in Alianta, and I serve as the honorary consul of Romania in Seattle. I initiated the Romanian American National Heritage Award event 5 years ago. It's going strong. It's helping kids, well, high school kids, with connections to the Romanian community in their application, the college application process, and I'm more than happy to see everybody here today. I'm gonna, Otilia, do you want to call the next person? Maybe Mihai.
Yeah.
Or actually,
yeah.
Let's. Andreea, can you go next?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. I'm Andreea Rebăltescu. I'm the communications director at Romanian United Fund, and it's awesome to talk to you and meet you, all you young minds and full of just taking on the world. We're here to talk about why we volunteer, and I just cannot start to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Dea. I'll just say a couple of words about myself. I'm the president of Romanian United Fund. I've been volunteering for at least 20 years now. Volunteering is my passion, and I'm delighted to be able to speak about it with bright young kids. Inspiring people to volunteer is something that I strongly believe in, and this is what this workshop is all about. But also trying to see how we can help you get into college, get into the best colleges possible, and how does volunteering actually help you get to where you want to get in just a few years. Actually, for some of you, it's going to be next year. So we're here to back you up, guys.
Thank you, Mihai. And then let's hear from Andreea and Boby and Nicole, if you want to introduce yourselves and tell us a few things about you.
Hi, I'm Andreea Haidău. I am in 12th grade currently in the suburbs of Chicago. I have been volunteering probably since I was about in 6th or 7th grade, so for a little while now, but my main project that I've been working on at the moment is I've been volunteering at the Romanian United Fund as well for just about a year, and I'm currently right at the moment starting a youth branch of that organization, and I'm excited to get Romanian American kids together.
Awesome. Do you have a dream school that you want to attend?
I am very much in avoidance of dream schools because I feel like my hopes might get crushed. So I am very open to all possibilities.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Boby, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So hi, my name is Boby, and right now I'm a 10th grader in the Bay Area, and I've been volunteering since last year. And the volunteering I've been doing is teaching programming to kids who cannot afford regular programming classes for free. And I really enjoy teaching them because I think it's good to give opportunities to people who would usually not have these opportunities. And yeah, that is why I would like to volunteer here to teach, especially other Romanian people from the United States, these very important skills, especially in like programming and other areas?
Bobby is USACO Platinum. He's a little genius. He doesn't say that about himself, but we're very proud of you, Bobby, and thank you very much for joining us here. We're going to turn it right back to you in just a couple of minutes. And I think we have Nicole next.
Yes.
Bună, I'm Nicole. I am based in Chicago, and I'm currently a senior at Lehene Tech. The volunteering that I do is more with book clubs. So I just over the summer did a book club with Archer, and we were connecting kids here in America with kids in Romania, and we were discussing social justice issues that we found in books that we had pre-selected. So it was a very fun opportunity for everyone involved.
Okay. And if I may
do you have a dream school?
Kind of like Andrea, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to get my
Okay.
hopes too much, but yeah, I have like right now Vanderbilt or like Connecticut College is kind of where I'm like crossing fingers I can get into them.
Okay, cool.
Or University of Chicago too.
Yeah.
And if I may add, Nicole was one of the recipients of last year's award of the Romanian American National Heritage Award. She got the Platinum Central. So we're trying to recognize every region of the state. And so this is another reminder for parents who see us today to encourage your kids, to apply. All right. So the next question will be, especially for the young generation here today. So why do you volunteer, and how are you going to use your experience volunteering, first of all, for your college applications, because I'm sure that you have already started thinking about it, but also for your future careers?
Yeah, volunteering. I volunteer just because there are so many communities who have given so much to me, like the Romanian American community. Like, I think I'm kind of like in a gray zone where I'm like, I'm not Romanian, I'm not American, I'm Romanian American. There's a hyphen in my identity. So I don't want to call it an obligation, but I feel like this duty to kind of give back to the community that has shaped so much of who I am. And for colleges want to see that you're a hardworking student who engages in the community, who understands that a community isn't just one person. You also have to get involved. So for me, when I'm going through my college application journey, I'm kind of making sure, okay, well, this college seems to value community work. Well, I've done a lot of community work. Maybe this would be a good fit for me as a school, because if you're very involved in the community and you want to continue to be involved in the community, you have to make sure that the college you're applying to recognizes that, values that, and on top of that is going to let you continue your work, whether it's in California, whether it's in New York, Maine, wherever. You have to make sure they're going to continue supporting you if you want to continue volunteering.
Anybody else? Boby, or I know you need to leave, but.
Yeah, similar to Nicole, I do think, it's kind of something we need to do to give back to our community. And volunteering is like a very good way to give back to other people who might not have as many opportunities. And also, I just really enjoy teaching others in general and watching them go from not knowing almost anything about a topic to actually like grasping ideas, and just watching them say like, oh, I understand it. And yeah, I just think it's very nice to see that. And for colleges, I think colleges really like volunteering, and like in my case, teaching, because if you can teach successfully a topic to someone else, that proves that you yourself understand that topic very well enough to teach other people, and have them actually understand. And that also like solidifies my understanding of all the different topics I'm teaching them. So yeah, I think it does help a lot with colleges as well as just helping other people.
Does it make you feel happy?
Yeah. It makes me feel happy to see like others grow and like thank me for teaching them a lot of things.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. Andrea, would you like to say something?
Yeah, of course. I think I volunteer because it's about finding an issue that you're passionate about, or not an issue, just a particular event or a group of people or something that you want to change that you feel very strongly about, and it's something that you want to put your time into and that you want to be a part of or have an effect in. And in terms of, well, that's obviously making you feel good about yourself and good about how you're helping your community and how you're giving back, just like Bobby and Nicole have been saying. And in terms of colleges, I think it's just another way to show what you can do, but what you want to do as well. It's part of your identity. It's part of your skill set, and we display our values in how we volunteer. We show what we care about and what we're passionate about and what we want to change in the world. And I think that that's what colleges really are looking for in terms of seeing your personality in your application.
It really truly makes you and other people like you stand out, I believe. I think everybody on we're speechless right now. Like everybody's like, right. I can't add anything to this because this is just so emotional. We're really proud of you guys.
Yeah, you are the young generation, and now I have a question. I think for us, for our generation, because we came from Romania, where volunteering was, during growing up during communism, volunteering was associated with the forced, activities that the party would ask you to do, on your free time. So most of the people did not grow up having, good feeling positively about volunteering. And I know things are changing today in Romania. You have a lot of NGOs working towards, changing Romania and also cultivating a civic spirit that was broken during the dictatorship. So now I have a question for the ones from my own generation. So what does it mean to volunteer for you here in the States, and when did you start volunteering, and when did you realize the value of volunteering, such as the younger generation just described a few minutes ago?
Do you want me to start, maybe?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I'm honored that you're actually calling me the same generation as you. Makes me feel young because you're much younger than me. But no. So here's the thing. I want to relate to something that you said before, right? Like I grew up in a communist country, and volunteering was a very fake word, right? So like, oh, you have to volunteer, when in fact it was a forced activity. So I came. It's going to be next week, actually exactly in a week, it's going to be 23 years since I came over to US. Microsoft brought me over here. And so the concept of volunteering was a foreign concept to me. It's like, I didn't believe in that. And then I had the privilege of working at Microsoft, and I saw the spirit, what volunteering means in the United States, and it's about building human connection, right? Like, so if you're looking at what makes people happy in general, right? And like there's been a lot of studies made about what makes people happy, and they interviewed like a lot of old people. It's like, okay, looking back, what's the most important thing that defines your happiness? It's actually human connection. And you have to build an authentic human connection, right? Like, and the best thing you can do that is just to help people. It's to give, right? And you have to give it in meaningful ways, right? So I discovered that, right? Like, obviously people at Microsoft are donating quite a lot. We're donating quite a lot, and they still do, right? And I discovered what a powerful thing it is for your personal happiness. And I highly recommend you do it primarily for that reason, right? Yes, it is super important for the college application, especially if you're applying to a highly selective college, but do it just because it makes you happy, and because you believe in it, right? And I'll tell you one thing, yes, colleges are looking for volunteering and consistent activity in the community, but they also can look through the whole, like you cannot fake it. You have to be sincere about it. And so I discovered that, like it makes me happy. It's important for me, for the community. And one way of doing of helping people is to create sort of a recognition. And one of the things in the Romanian community, unfortunately, is that it's still not as cohesive as other communities, other ethnic communities in the United States, right? And it's like my reason for volunteering is to actually create a bigger picture, right? And replicate the success other ethnic communities have. And one of the best things to do this is just to help the younger generation, because they are like another thing is like I was fortunate enough to be in a context where I understand what volunteering means, the value it can bring to me and the community. But at the same time, I recognize the fact that the older generation of Romanians are not necessarily as fortunate as myself to discover the same type of thing. So like people of my generation generally don't have the same view of volunteering that you guys have, or people participating here. And so my hope for being in the community, so first of all, it's a long-term project. Second of all, it's just like you have to do it through the younger generation. The best thing to do this is to support them and give them a national recognition. Colleges are looking for not only for volunteering, but for activities that receive because if you're applying to highly selective colleges, there's a lot of people. Like I remember when I visited Stanford with one of my daughters a few years ago, and I know Boby, perhaps hopefully that's one of your dream schools, but they said it's like like if they were to select people solely on grades and SAT scores and all that stuff, they'll have 3 times as many candidates as they, with perfect scores. So they're looking for differentiating factors, and the differentiating factors is not only involvement in the community, but the visibility of that involvement. And that's where we want to help you guys with, right? Like we created this nationally recognized contest. It's recognized by a national organization. One of the founders, there are high-powered politicians. One of the founders is actually a good friend of President Biden. He's going to be soon the ambassador of the United States in the European Union, Mark Wittenstein. He used to be the US ambassador to Romania. And this event is also organized by the Romanian embassy, and we have strong support from the Romanian embassy. So it is a contest that has national recognition and hopefully rewards your activity in the community and supports your college application. That's what I had. Mihai, take it over from here.
Iulian, I really I wanted to say just a couple of words just to add to your point. Part of the value of volunteering in the Romanian community is creating the connections to people that are actually Romanian. And I'd like to hear from Boby, even if it's just briefly, does it make any difference to you knowing that, are you making better friends or easier? Are you making friends easier in the Romanian community? Does it matter to you at all if somebody has Romanian background? Because connecting is, you can connect to people your age through volunteering.
Yeah, I think about Romanian background. I could probably have more empathy for them if they're Romanian, since I know, like, at least for me, when I first moved here, I had a lot of trouble, like, fitting in, obviously, because I was from a different country. So teaching people who are Romanian and might have even moved here during their lifetime, like I did, would allow us to relate on another level, and it would make me happier to see them grow, especially since they have similarities to me.
So there's some value in connecting to the Romanian community too, as well.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Boby. Andreea, I know this is why you do this to a large extent. What makes you feel it's important to connect to the Romanian community through volunteering?
The Romanian community is such an important part of my upbringing and the way I think about life, just because my family and I was born in the United States, but my parents moved here when they were in their 20s. We go to Romania once a year or more, except in COVID. we speak only Romanian at home. We have a multitude of Romanian friends. So I'm so tied to this community, and I want to continue being tied to that because it's such an important part of who I am, that when I recognize it in other people, like Bobby's saying, it's a connection that it's hard to make with somebody who doesn't share that background and doesn't share that culture. And volunteering it's the best way to find somebody who shares both the passion for the culture and the passion to connect with other people from that culture. And it's a way to spread this idea that we want to share our experiences together and our goals and common ideas.
Well said.
I'm curious that in Washington State, high school kids need to volunteer they need to bring proof of volunteering for about 40 hours, So is that the same in the Chicago area? Do you need to volunteer? Is it required by the state?
For my school, I don't believe so. It's not a graduation requirement of any sort. We do have a program through a local university that does actually offer free admission for 2 years at a community college nearby, and they do require community service hours. And I think it's a very strong recommendation. But in Chicago or in Illinois, or at least in my school district, it's not a requirement for school graduation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it's wonderful that we have, growing Romanian organizations that can offer possibilities for the youth, to volunteer in our community, because they are, our youth are volunteering in other communities if we don't offer them these possibilities. So like Boby said also, like you and Nicole, it's so important for them to have these opportunities to connect with the others with the older generation, but also the young generation. Oh, and I have a comment in the chat from Laura from the Bay Area. No volunteer requirements in high school in the Bay Area. Oh, okay. So it looks like the Washington State, they're like a little bit more, putting more value on volunteering. That's a good thing. And hopefully the model will be, adopted in other states. All right. So what about you, Mihai? Do you want to say a few things about your own commitment, to volunteering, and how did it start?
So, I think my first, you'll be the judge of it. I'll let you figure out if that was volunteering. But starting in 9th grade, I really wanted to go to the seaside in Romania, and I always wanted, going there by myself was no fun. So I figured out a way to not only go there with all my friends, but also, as you remember, Romania, we didn't have a lot of money. So one thing that I invented was 2 kids on 1 seat. So I starting in 9th grade, every summer, I organized seaside trips. That was probably 500-mile hike from Zalo, from where I was. And we had 70 kids in the first year, 90 kids later every year. And I basically organized the entire process from A to Z. We have a lot of great memories. I don't want to tell them on the air. Some of these we can share, maybe afterwards. But I just want to say it was incredible to just go through that experience. I think the sort of organizational skills and the leadership and the responsibilities that I put myself through at the time. I think it was just a sign. It first of all, you start getting a taste for how amazing it is to do something and to look at it and say, oh my God, look what I've done. And this is me. I'm Andreea, or I'm Boby, or I taught this class and these kids, have some additional value. So when you look back to it, the pride that comes from the whole thing, it just adds up to, all the other skills that you're learning through that process. And, it allowed me to, make mistakes, figure out that I made mistakes, create an independent sort of, streak, and I just think it, it sort of it just showed me that I can do it. And then when I came to Chicago about almost 20 years ago, I founded a different nonprofit, and I was part of that nonprofit for 7 years. And I put a lot of time into it, and I absolutely loved it. And there's one more thing that was not really said here tonight that I'd like to add. I made my best friends in the nonprofit world. Some of my best friends today are people that I met in the nonprofit world. And there's a certain quality of the people that I meet. And, I'm standing right next to some of them. Between the two organizations, Roundtable Society was the first one, and Romanian United Fund, I met very few people. I made very few additional friends. And I was never as amazed to look at the person next to me and say, wow, I really think this person is awesome. I enjoy spending time with her or with him. And it's just such a great environment to make new friends and people that you can learn from. So this is my experience with volunteering. It means a lot to me. It means the world to me, because some of my best memories come from volunteering, and some of my best friends come from this world as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mihai. I think everybody's can relate to what you said. We make our best friends through volunteering because we end up spending so much time together, right? And then gradually the volunteering, because you pour so much soul into it and your free time, and you have to make choices, right? Sometimes over your family, you have to choose the volunteering work over your family. And this is a tough choice. So you need people to understand what it means to make these sacrifices, and appreciate them, for what they are and for the greater good they create. Thank you. Andreea, would you like to say something about your own, journey towards volunteering and being part of the big Romanian United Fund family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Otilia. I know that being selfish is not nice. I mean, when people say, oh, you're selfish for just thinking about yourself, or you're selfish for saying that or doing that. I think volunteering is the most healthiest form of selfishness that exists. And I highly recommend it to everybody, because it makes you feel good. Like Iulian said, like Mihai said, like Andreea said. By the way, Andreea, I loved what she said about this. My hair just started perking up. I'm like, yes, she's feeling it. She's there. And I think this is all that you need. If you get to that point when you wake up in the morning and you know what you're waking up for, I think life is fulfilled for you. For me, I got into volunteering straight into RUF, Romanian United Fund. I saw their fundraiser for Via Transilvanica. Everything in me just started screaming and just started being, yes, I found an organization that does something for Romania. Me being Romanian here for all this time, for all these years, struggling, trying to fit in. We've all been there. We all know how hard it is to have a roof over your head and make sure you have a constant income and kids and family and this and that. And you just don't have time to offer something else, to some of your time and your money to other parts. Once you get to that, once I got through all that, I was like, okay, got the job, got the husband, got the dog, got the kids, got the cars. What now? Boom, RUF showed up just out of the blue sky. And I'm like, all right, okay, let's see what we can do here. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're working with organizations in Romania. They're doing all this kind of stuff. And I was just hooked from the get-go. I remember talking to Mihai on the first phone call, and he was so hyped up. I'm like, man, this guy's buzzing. He's like sending energy through the phone to me. Okay, we can do something here. And I've been with them ever since. I've also worked with another organization this time from Chicago. Ryan is actually here. He's volunteered to that organization. Maybe he can say a few words about that. So I got into this whole, it's like a drug to me. I mean, it's just something that you want more and more and more and more, because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. You have an impact in so many people's lives that you've never met, and probably you will never meet in your life. And they have no clue who you are, that you're doing all these things for him to benefit in the end. So this whole circle is just a vicious circle that got me hooked, and it's like a whirlpool just pulling me deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So I'm happy to be part of this whole entire family of RUF, of you guys, meeting you, working with you, partnering with you to do great things. It's just where I should be, and I will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreea. And if I can speak about my own experience, I started volunteering in Romania. I was really, I think I was in 9th grade as well, Mihai. And we had teachers from Scotland in our high school. And those teachers started going to Romanian orphanages, actually, to play with the kids. And this is how I started. And I volunteered through my high school I was going to the Hălăucești orphanage. And that changed my life completely. My sister reminded me one of these days that I actually wanted to take one of the kids home. It was very hard for me to just go and play with them and not be able to take anybody with me. So it was, I grew up with that experience, and I realized how much the broken spirit that we had right after communism, so this was in the early 90s, right, could benefit from, countries, from the experience that other countries were bringing, because volunteering for a greater cause, without being forced, without doing it, out of your free will, is something so valuable. It makes you feel like you matter, you can make, a change. So that was one of my first encounters with volunteering. And then, of course, I was part of, Iași. I'm from Iași, from northern part of Romania. And Iași is such a cultural city. We all had, we had events, we had, book launches. So that was, again, there was a spirit of, dedicating yourself, what you were good at, studying humanities. It had no practical, right, no practical relevance in that society, you would think. But no, I mean, we all wanted to change society. So we organized through arts. We thought that arts and culture could change the world. And I think it did, because I left Iași in 2000, and my colleagues who stayed there founded Polyrom. They built Polyrom, which is now one of the most successful publishing house in Romania. So I'm very proud of everyone, my colleagues, who were students with me at that time. They also founded Filit, which is the biggest, translation and literature festival in Eastern Europe, where they all bring together high schoolers to volunteer. So I'm so proud of that, what happened, of the energies that brewed in Romania right after, the fall of communism. So it showed that we were not that broken, actually, that we had it in us, And then when I came to Seattle in 2000, I went through grad school, and I saw that Romania was kind of isolated. There was nothing on Romania, actually. No, there's a lot of, I was in the French department, but nothing, no conferences, nothing. Romania was kind of an outsider because we don't speak a Slavic language. We're kind of left out all the time. So we founded an organization called Imagine, a collage for cultural identities. And so we brought in all the Eastern European, cultures that were left out, from the curriculum, actually. So that was one of the initial, I would say, for ARCs. And then a few years later, we realized that in the city of the biggest film festival in the US, Seattle International Film Festival is the biggest film festival in the US. They stopped bringing Romanian movies. And then we wondered why. And then we connected with the person who was in charge of programming at that time, at SIF. And she just said, you know what, we didn't know there was a Romanian community. Nobody showed interest in those films. And it was shocking. And this is how it started. We said, okay, we're gonna make a Romanian film festival. And this is how it all started in 2013. And I remember the community when we presented the project, everybody was kind of reluctant, I must say, which didn't make us change our minds. We knew it was a good cause. And I mean, the festival grew so big in 8 years only, but everybody was like, are you sure that Americans would like these films, would like Romanian culture. And we were like, yes, why not? We're as good as anybody else. You know, we make the Romanian films are the best cultural product at this time, you know, that we can share with everybody. Cinema is universal, it's for everybody. So it's like, why not? And it's right now we have the entire, you know, a lot of our supporters are from the Romanian community. And it's really amazing that we kept on going despite of the pandemic and all this. So yeah, this is all I had to say about this journey. And for the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, we started, you know, conversations and collaborating with Romanian United Fund, with Romanians of DC, with Immigration Research Forum, other organizations, national, you know, the national level. So it's really great to be part of a movement. I think we are part of a movement. We're creating a FORA, a Federation of Romanian Nonprofits, that will help us be stronger. Because we have, look at the other communities, look at the Russians, look at the, you know, Italians, look at the, you know, Greeks. They all have these organizations. They have awards that they give to their youth in order to encourage them, you know, to go to college and preserve their heritage. There are so many things that we can learn actually about volunteering and the value, the impact of volunteering. Because one thing you need, I mean, I learned, I think, coming here, is that don't wait for anybody to give you anything or change anything. If there's nothing on Romanian culture out there, you just make it happen. You need to be that voice, actually. So
since you're here, Otilia, I'm sorry, Mihai, just 2 seconds. We have a viewer on Facebook that's watching us on the live, and they have a question that I would like to address to you, because you touched it a little bit right at the end.
Yeah.
Her name is Nesrim. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And she has 2 questions. I'll address the first one. How do you volunteer for the Romanian American community if you live far away from this community or there are no Romanians in your area? What can we answer her?
I will let the others start since I just finished.
Whoever likes.
Yeah, go ahead, Mihai or Iulian.
So it is our goal, Romanian United Fund, our sort of long-term goal is to empower small Romanian communities, whatever they are, to act and to get involved. Ideally, what we'd like to do is to connect to some of these smaller communities and help them create groups and offer them with, you know, in collaboration with ARCs and other organizations like ours, we offer them curriculums for teaching, you know, whether it's Romanian language. We can offer them, you know, movies that they can watch. We can offer them, you know, a theater play. There's other ways you can donate. So you can make a financial donation to an organization in Romania that you really care about, be it, you know, orphans or, you know, I mean, I think there's a lot of really good causes that you can look to, and a lot of them are looking towards the future and trying to make things better, you know, improve education. There's you know, whatever you want to do, and any way you can get involved these days, you can. And I'd actually like to hear from Andreea. I know she has a little plan, and I believe, you know, this is an example of how we can get involved wherever we are. And I'd like to ask Andreea, what does that plan sound like? And do you think, you know, what do you hope from? What are your hopes for it?
This Andreea, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm currently constructing a youth branch of the Romanian United Fund. And actually we were just supposed to have our first meeting today, but the scheduling didn't work out. And we're going to set up these open forum discussions between Romanian American youth, because ultimately I started volunteering just through my school in things. I've been tutoring, I've been constructing peer mentoring systems, working with elementary school kids, all sorts of like karate tournament opportunities that I've had through different communities. But I have contact with a lot of people from the Romanian community, the Romanian American community, particularly kids who are close to my age. And what I've noticed is that the Romanian American culture and community in the States is geared towards assimilation. We're still trying to find our way into American culture rather than garnering and keeping Romanian culture. And this is particularly evident in young people. aren't as interested in Romanian culture. They don't know the language very well. They are Americanized per se, and they don't have very much of an interest in getting together. But if they make friends who are similar to them, then they would like to get involved, and then they just want to form these connections that we've been talking about. And Romanian United Fund Youth, the idea is that we would be constructing these open forum discussions, meaning just an open Zoom in which both participants can ask questions and respond to questions about things that aren't necessarily yet related to Romanian culture, because we want to just start a conversation between young people. And if those young people aren't looking to necessarily talk about their Romanian identity at the moment, the idea is that they just need to talk amongst themselves to form those connections before they can evolve into developing something that's tied to their Romanian heritage. And so the idea is that this Romanian youth organization can become something that will form communities virtually at the moment, because that's what's going to work best in areas everywhere, in cities everywhere. I mean, right now we're starting in the Chicago area because that's where Romanian United Fund is based, and that's where a lot of my friends are, and that's where I'm trying to form something. But it can spread because there are Romanian American people everywhere, particularly youth, and they can join together eventually once they start to form these connections.
I really think we can think about this as Romanian American youth, and ideally anybody anywhere should be able to connect, and it's our job to say, when I say our job, it's it's Romanian United Fund, ARCS, Alianta, all of these organizations. It's the sort of the parents' job to just, well, not the parents, but the organization's job to create the conditions for the youth to meet, to talk to each other, to communicate, and then maybe eventually through some localized community centers, they can meet not only virtually but in person as well. I really believe in that sort of personal connection, and I know this is the pandemic right now, but I think we're all looking for a brighter future, and we're thinking about this 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and I believe there's the conditions are perfectly set, or they're set today for there's a very dynamic movement that I can feel pretty much everywhere. There's a lot of excitement, and we're here to help. That's the message. We're here to help. Connect to us, and let's see what kind of programs we can help you create so that you can enjoy your youth and enjoy each other, connect to each other.
I can add examples of how you can connect in a virtual way, since we've been online for most of our programs, for the past 2 years. I have youth connecting, to us, asking, okay, what can I do? How can I volunteer? And you can, all organizations need help creating quality content, for the social media, let's say, so you can do this from wherever you are, actually. So connecting to produce content, or, connecting, volunteering to help us, create materials for the Romanian school, because we're always we're looking for materials, for videos, for songs, for films, or for digital textbooks they're not that many. So we're like, so if you want to volunteer, like you can just connect to any of the organization. I'm sure we always need help with social media, with programming, with just for managing this meeting today. We need somebody to take care of the chat, or we need somebody to share it on Facebook. There's so many things that you can do without being physically with us.
I have a good one. So we all have our classes. We're teaching math, we're teaching computer class, we're teaching Romanian language, assistance, being an assistant, and learning and then teaching yourself, just like Boby is doing in the Bay Area. I believe now the organizations are starting to have their own connections between them, and connecting the Romanians from the Bay Area to the Romanians in Washington State, or from Chicago. I was just yesterday morning, I was doing a tour. I'm actually in Romania right now, and I was doing a tour at Transylvania College in Cluj, and it's an amazing school that has, I've been at high schools and I've been at lots of schools in the United States, and I can say that it's anywhere, it meets any sort of criteria or standard that you want. And they have some really cool programs for volunteering they've been creating here in Cluj. And I'm proud to say that we're probably going to offer joint programs where you can, you can set up debate clubs, or, just meet with, kids from, basically competitions between different centers. There's all sorts of cool ideas that we can do. And I think what we need to do is we want to sort of raise it. It's almost like a volleyball, where we're setting the ball and you guys are the ones shooting, right? So what we can do is we can come up with the ideas, and let's call it, I don't know, a blogging platform or a dueling vlogs or something, where you can do something from over here to something from over there. I believe it is, again, our role to support these young organizations and create the means, create the programs that you can connect, compete against each other, and enjoy enjoy this connection and enjoy your presence. I'm really looking forward to your ideas. Actually, these are just, my ideas. I'm pretty sure your ideas are going to be much better. And I think it's, Otilia and Andreea and Iulian, and we're going to sit down and say, okay, for next year, and Laura, by the way, welcome Laura Toma from San Francisco. Let's sit down and figure out what is the coolest program we're going to do, so that we involve all the kids from all of these states, right? And then, we're going to take a long list from the kids, I guess, and we're just going to say, okay, we can do this one. Let's do it. And next year we'll probably have a debate contest or something that you can all enjoy.
Yeah, I'd like to add, so that was an absolutely great question. Thank you for asking it. And I think it's really more of a feedback, and because there are opportunities, right? Like everybody outlined, there are opportunities. Maybe we should do a better job actually making it easier for people to sign up to them, right? So that's something we should follow up with Mihai and Otilia, right? Like advertise better the volunteering opportunities that are already there from virtual, right? Like advertise for virtual volunteering opportunities. And there are many other ideas. Some of them I had in the past, like mentoring kids in Romania, like to learn English, music, that type of stuff. I think it's on us to actually make those opportunities more accessible. Because what I noticed is that the younger generation, and Andreea, I totally relate to you, Andreea Haidău. I totally relate to you about people, seeing the assimilation. What I noticed is that kids, when they become teenagers, are really interested in their roots. And that's when they're really curious about their heritage, and they want to contribute. And I think it's on us to do a better job creating avenues for everybody to contribute. So I apologize, I don't know the name of the person who asked the question, but I would like to say just please follow us on the social media, on our websites. You'll definitely see a lot of opportunities for volunteering in meaningful ways, and we're open to your ideas as well, as Mihai indicated. So thank you.
I already sent all the information to her. She has one more question, if I can. It's very short, but it's more in the area of Seattle. She's asking also for the young generations, like 4-year-old and up, what are the volunteering possibilities in the Romanian American community, Seattle area, hopefully south of it? If there's anything that comes to mind.
I think we'll have to think about
yes.
it.
Well, we're in the process of signing a contract, so we'll have a base actually in Seattle at the MLK Cultural Center. So we'll finally will go back to in-person events in December. So we do organize a Club Piticot, you know, for kids from 4 to 5. So we have reading time in Romanian. So you'll be able, as a parent, we had parents that organized these reading, you know, times in Romanian for kids. So if you're a parent and you're interested in doing this, you know, it's just half an hour. Elisabetta, who is on our team, was trained by Seattle Public Libraries, you know, to do reading time in Romanian. So we're happy to share this. You know, she can do training. She can do this for Chicago as well, if you guys are interested. So we can have, you know, programs for smaller kids as well. They don't do that well online. So thank you for the question. That's a good question. So I think as soon as we can go back and, you know, meeting again, we'll be able to start offering these programs, you know, for the community. They were very popular in our community. There were about 40 people showed, you know, kids showed at each time. So I think because of the pandemic, that will be hard to manage, but we'll make it, let's say 10 kids at a time, or, you know, so we'll start making things happen again for the young, so the little ones. Yeah.
I'd like to stay, you know, I think this is a great idea, but I'd like to stay on, you know, the topic of today's workshop is, you know, the importance of volunteering for college. Mm-hmm. So I understand that there's a lot of questions about volunteering overall, but I think when it comes to, you know, the importance of volunteering for college, I'd like to ask Andreea, especially, what kind of growth, you know, is there anything that you feel that you think changed in you that prepared you more for, you know, becoming a college student? Or, you know, second question, you know, sort of in the same vein for everyone else who's on this conference, can you give us an example of somebody that you know volunteered and this kind of volunteering help them either in a career move or in a, you know, moving to getting to college? So Andreea, going back to you, do you think you've changed, and do you think this has prepared you to, you know, are you going to be better in college, better off in college because of your volunteering?
Absolutely. And the really biggest reason for that is just because it's exposed me to so many more people. I've been tutoring at my school for about 4 years, I think. Starting in middle school, I've been tutoring, and that's opened me to, I think Boby was talking about this earlier, just how much you learn when you're teaching other people. And that particular situation, I'm in contact with so many different students of so many different levels, with so many different interests and backgrounds and families and situations, and that I work with on a daily basis and that I help. And seeing how they grow makes me grow, because then I'm able to see just different situations of different people. And this goes for other volunteer experiences that I've had. I did some volunteering at my library. I was a total book nerd when I was little, like completely. I read about 3 chapter books a day. I could not get out of the librarian's office. They loved me, but also hated me because I was always there. So I really loved books when I was little, and I was so excited to volunteer at the library. And that, in that case, I was working with a makerspace, and there were so many people who came to talk to me. And yes, I grew, of course, because I talked to them, and I'm learning from volunteering. You just meet people that you wouldn't be in contact with if you were instead spending some of your time doing, I don't know, club sports, because you can do club sports as well. But volunteering it's something that just opens a different pathway in so many different directions. And in terms of somebody that I know who did this, I participated in this STEM scholars program where we talked about just various businesses in our area. It was led by a congressman from my district, and he just gathered a group of students who applied, and we talked about our volunteering experiences and how that would apply to our careers in one of our sessions. And there were a bunch of students who had volunteered at particular particular organizations that were specific to their career choice. So for example, there was this one boy who volunteered at a science research lab with people, I think, in his community, and that really pushed him forward in his college application because it showed his dedication to his particular career choice and how he wanted to get involved and how he'd already started to prepare for this opportunity. And then this can also be seen in what I've learned from the Romanian United Fund. I mean, speaking with adults as well, because there's life wisdom that I don't have, that my parents have already given me, but they've been speaking to me since I was born. So just experience from all of these different people that you encounter without intentionally doing it that way.
Super well said. Thank you, Andreea.
Thank you. And we are reaching 1 hour, but I think we can stay for questions, So if anybody, from Facebook there, I know you're monitoring that, or from anybody present here today has questions for Andreea or for us, or
I'd like to ask Laura. Laura, you had a comment. I can read it, but I would prefer if you speak about it a little bit. I hope Laura Toma is still here. Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
she is, yeah, she's muted.
Okay, anyone else? Otherwise, I can read the question or the comment. Okay, well, the comment says, we are a group of Romanian American teenagers from the Bay Area, California, looking to build a platform to connect people from the US and beyond around the shared passion for Romania. After a trying year in the pandemic, we hope to facilitate real connections amongst youth and promote the celebration of Romanian heritage and culture here in the Bay Area and in Romania. I believe this is what a lot of young people want. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think introducing Andreea and introducing Boby and some of the kids from the Bay Area would be absolutely amazing. And I know Otilia has a lot of names that I saw last week on the previous call. I bet they would all absolutely love to sort of connect with each other. And I think I'd like to throw a challenge to all of us here and this challenge is, let's envision one program, one contest, one something that brings these kids together next year. Let's have one event where they either compete against each other or they meaningfully connect with each other in a way that would be absolutely enjoyable for everyone present. And I'll just leave it at that. That's my challenge to you. I'll be thinking about it.
We should definitely work towards the idea of creating Romanian youth organization, that could unite all the, Romanian Americans, the younger generation, because they need it for later, for networking. Other groups are doing it, they're helping each other. So I think it would be a shame not to create this movement, to help you later on, so that's a great idea. Then the second, the challenge, I think we can all think about it, and come up with something. Please reach out to us, to any of us, and with ideas, what would be, and especially, Andreea and, Boby, and I can talk to Ilinka Haji, who organized the workshop last week. And reach out to our youth. And we have a strong base also in Portland. They're doing wonderful things in Sinaia. They're teaching, coding for, for high schoolers there. So I think we have wonderful youth, that have already participated in by the way, don't forget to participate, send out applications for the Romanian American National Heritage Award. You will be recognized. Everyone who participating, will be recognized at the Alianta Gala. You'll receive a diploma that you can use for, college applications. But also we are giving away also some, some funds. So that would be really welcome, especially if you go to
money for college.
If you go to college, you'll need that. Yeah, it would be wonderful to create more programs, that could bring you guys together. next
Well,
year. So
let's leave it to the young generation to come up with
Yes.
that one thing that you guys want, and we're gonna do it next year. It's a promise.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. I think we can, wrap it up unless there are other questions, people who are present in the meeting today. If not, don't forget that we have a third and the last one in the series of college applications, how to build a college application. And this time it will be with specialists who were in the selection committees, Ileana Marin and also Dan Nicolae from Chicago, University of Washington and University of Chicago. And also Iulian will be there, Iulian Calinov that you met today. So this will be more practical advice of how to build that successful application, what to put in there, all your volunteering activities, extracurriculum, proof of extracurriculum activities, and also, everything else that can distinguish you, in the sea of college, wonderful, talented, applicants that apply for the same position.
Is this next week, same time?
Yes,
Otilia?
next week.
Next week, same time. See you online.
Yes, see you online at 11 a.m. Seattle time, 1 p.m. Chicago time, 2 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. All right. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
If you
Thanks
need,
so
if
much.
you need any help with college applications, we can definitely help out. Reviews of essays, anything that you guys need, reach out. We have here our volunteer Luciana Nemzanu. She says she can help out, and if you guys have been watching and you are preparing your college application, we can help.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
and not only that, but
Yeah.
if you need help selecting the school list, things of that nature, more than happy to help. This is especially relevant. I know people that are senior this year are they're gonna have a few very busy 3 months moving forward, right? So this is the most critical time, but others as well. And then I'd like to end by thanking our hosts, Andreea and Otilia, for organizing this. And it was I'm humbled to be able to help here. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a great weekend and see you next week. All right. Bye.
Nice job.
Hi.
Bye.
De invitație. O seară plăcută.
O seară plăcută.
Thank you.
Pa, pa.